250 years of success continued, standing on the shoulders of giants. This is the phone report honoring JD Vance. Let's do it. Welcome to the Four Report. I'm Seena, Ghaznavi, Travis Irvine in virtual studio. This is our 250th anniversary episode of not our show, but the greatest country. What is that?
It's a grand old flag. It's a high flying flag. It's a flag. It's a flag. Flags. Fly that flag. Get that flag.
Fly that
on
flag.
Your car. Absolutely.
Yeah. Travis, we've got a fun show today. I thought it'd be really fun if we walked down a little bit memory lane, because when you're in the cipher of news constantly and you're getting hit all the time, and even on this show, we're talking about it stuff every week, you could kind of forget where we've been and where we're at now. And so we've got a lineup of clips from JD Vance that span chronologically, I think, over the last bit here.
Yes. I mean, 250 years of America and only a year and a half of JD Vance. Which one has been harder? That's my question to the viewers and listeners and fans of our lovely show. Again, when I first came on here, this show, JD had just become vice president. And I always said that before that, he was just Ohio's problem, you know?
Yeah.
And now I honestly thought he was just going to be America's problem after he became vice president. But as we have seen, he's slowly become the world's problem. So congratulations, world. Ohio gets your pain. And we wish you the best of luck.
Yeah. Well, enjoy this episode. You'll hear the clips play that are all JD Vance related, but it is really incredible to see here. You're not going to want to miss it. From the Munich Security Conference to Greenland to, does he know the presidents? I mean, and he's just the butt of the joke. I mean, part of you has to feel for the guy, but let's get to it. Noreen, take us. What is the Munich Security Conference, Noreen? Why does it matter?
It's all great questions and information I've always known. Let me just say. So the Munich Security Conference is an annual forum focused on international security policy. And so it gathers all these world leaders, defense officials, intelligence experts, and policymakers to discuss global security challenges, diplomatic strategies, and defense cooperation. And it was originally founded in 1963 as a Cold War-era defense forum. It's always held in Munich, Germany, usually in February. And it features speeches, panel discussions, and private diplomatic meetings. And so the mission and purpose of this conference is to promote peace and security, LOL, enhance multilateral cooperation, address emerging threats, strengthen transatlantic relations, and historically has been a key platform for NATO and EU-US relations.
Well, none of those things happened.
Yeah. How's that all going? How's that going for him?
How's that going for you? None of that occurred. I guess, people talk a lot about Trump. I'm not as concerned about Trump as maybe other people are. I am actually concerned about JD Vance being backed by Peter Thiel and the smart MAGA movement that's behind him, right? Because when you're when back in 2016, when people were like, Ted Cruz or Donald Trump? I was like, Donald Trump all day. It's like, I know it sounds crazy to say, but all day. Ted Cruz is smart. He knows what he's doing. He's organized. JD Vance really knew what he was doing here. He's not some like off the chain kind of insane person. He is very deliberate. He's very well educated. He's obviously very well read. He's a writer. He knows what he's doing. And he went off and basically restructured the way we relate to NATO. I think we have a clip of JD Vance speaking at the Munich Security Conference, and he kind of, I mean, this is like everyone in NATO is going to be there, but this is really about freedom and how he views the Europeans as basically the fascists, which is strange, but also ironic in a weird way.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. Now, I was struck that a former European commissioner went on television recently and sounded delighted that the Romanian government had just annulled an entire election. He warned that if things don't go to plan, the very same thing could happen in Germany too. Now, these cavalier statements are shocking to American ears. For years, we've been told that everything we fund and support is in the name of our shared democratic values. Everything from our Ukraine policy to digital censorship is billed as a defense of democracy. But when we see European courts canceling elections and senior officials threatening to cancel others, we ought to ask whether we're holding ourselves to an appropriately high standard. And I say ourselves because I fundamentally believe that we are on the same team. We must do more than talk about democratic values, we must live them.
Boom, roasted. This is one of Netflix's worst roasts I've ever seen. Bring back Jeff Ross, please.
Although it worked because he really pissed everyone off.
That was crazy. I mean, you got important diplomats in the front row right there. There's not even a dais. They don't even get a chance to respond, right, and roast back or anything.
Although Shaq was there laughing the whole time.
Oh, good. And Flava Flav. Ambassador Flava Flav, who's I believe he's the ambassador to Little Italy, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, let's hear the European leaders respond to this.
Germany's defense minister Boris Pistorius said comparing European governments to authoritarian regimes was just unacceptable.
Yeah, the idea here is that Europe really learned its lesson not too long ago about authoritarianism, and they don't want to repeat it. And so, yeah, I get it. Germany has different free speech laws than we do in America. And you know what? There's a reason why it is like that. And maybe there's a place to meet in the middle, but maybe not yet. I think America's just kind of going through a little bit of an authoritarian phase, like an angry teen, the results of which could be pretty violent and definitely bad for the Ukrainians. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is crazy.
It's all horrific, I would say, is my formal input. It's just like, God. Honestly, I really don't even have any words to say. It's like the only reason I've heard about this Munich Security Council is because of these idiots.
Right.
Yeah.
And like they are truly reshaping the US presence in every way. And it's like happening constantly.
Yeah, I think my 2 cents is it's a shame that anyone has to give 2 shits about what JD Vance says, because now he's the vice president. I mean, he was also there last year saying a lot of the same things about Ukraine and everything like that. I mean, Seena, you asked me if I was going to run for office again. I honestly was thinking that if JD Vance and Trump had lost the election, that I was going to run for Senate against JD Vance just so I could roast him and all his stupid opinions, because you're right. He's smart. Like, he went to Yale Law School and everything like that, but it's like he's still a sycophant. He's still a charlatan. You know, he used to be a never Trumper in 2016 until Peter Thiel basically funded his way to take advantage of the Trump MAGA movement and get him into a position of power where he can go to Europe and do this and say these things as the vice president. That's what I think sucks, is that this German guy, the defense minister, even has to respond to a piece of garbage like JD Vance at all. But here we are. And he does, like you said, Seena, I do agree with you that
even though JD Vance kind of sucked, he is like the heir and apparent, right, to the MAGA movement. He would be the next in line in theory, even though Trump said that he wouldn't even endorse JD Vance in 2028 should it come to that. So that's what I think sucks. As an Ohio guy, JD Vance could have taken a more, he could have taken a more righteous route that's true to his working class roots, but instead he's doing this.
It's also funny if you watch his full speech, how in the beginning he gets like a huge round of applause. Mostly he's just acknowledging the attacks that happened in Munich earlier last week. And he makes a joke about how he hopes that's not the only round of applause he gets. And every like time they pause to clap, it's just like quieter and quieter
Less and less.
throughout.
Yeah. It's like when a roast, I mean, again, just because of our comedy roots, Seena, it is like when a roast, you start off really strong and then slowly the jokes stop hitting. Maybe they're a little too mean. Maybe the references are too inside baseball. I mean, we've all seen, that's why back in the old days of the roast, before they were live on Netflix, they used to really cut them down. You know what I mean? Like Andy Dick's set always gets cut to like 2 jokes and things like that. So congratulations, JD
hits.
Vance. Yeah, JD Vance, you're the Andy Dick of diplomacy.
Okay.
To our neighbors of the north.
Okay.
Our other neighbors to the north, Greenland, which we highlighted before. This is also, this kind of blew my mind because also here in the physical paper, remember
oh my God.
when we were talking about JD
Look how many
Vance?
pages there are. There's full page ads.
There's full page ads.
I can't click on a single thing.
Here,
I can't
try
pinch
pressing
Zoom.
Try pressing it. Wait, there's a QR code on
There
one
is
of
a
these,
QR
so
code,
you
thank
can
God.
take it digital. So I didn't know this, but when JD Vance went up to Greenland, because we want to claim Greenland.
I already know how this is going to end.
Yeah, right. And we were talking about
Tears.
there's 57,000 people in Greenland on the whole thing, and it's very strategic, and the U.S. has a base there. Did you know that the commander of the U.S. military base that JD Vance visited got fired for criticizing Trump after JD Vance left?
What?
Yeah, dude. Isn't that wild?
I didn't know that.
This is it. This is the Trump era. You say anything bad about Mr., the president.
So he said something bad about the president. I mean,
It's a she, which I think also,
Oh,
DEI, we all know. This is absolutely bonkers. So Colonel Susanna Myers, who's headed at the Patufic Space Base, so this is Space Force, which is where JD Vance went to visit. Remember, JD Vance's wife was going there. She was going to go to a dog sled race. There were going to be protesters at that, but out of 57,000 people nationwide in Greenland, who knows how many people that even is. It was mainly cats, is what I've heard, but they were there to protest the dog sled race in general. JD Vance says, I'm going with you, baby. And then they canceled the dog sled, and the only place he could visit where there would be no protesters, any country of 57,000 people, was a Space Force base owned by the U.S. So
I mean, thankfully those dogs didn't need any more stress after they were going to run through
yeah,
a
I
bunch
know.
of snow.
I mean, JD Vance, if there's a record with the Pope, he probably would have killed the dogs.
I will say, though, that the firing a general for criticizing
A colonel.
a colonel
Yeah. And just
is not unprecedented.
yes.
Stanley
and with this
McChrystal-
administration, yes.
Stanley McChrystal was fired by Obama.
Sure, in any
for
administration, I guess, if you're critical. But here's the thing, is that Susanna Myers, this colonel, who is in charge of the space base, they fired her officially. The reason was loss of confidence in her ability to lead.
Oh,
But the firing came after Myers sent an email that broke with the Trump administration's criticism of Denmark and the threats to take over Greenland. And she wrote in this email, and, if it's in an email, you're putting it out there. I do not presume to understand current politics. That's great. That's what you want from a colonel at a Space Force base. But what I do know is the concerns of the U.S. administration discussed by Vice President Vance on Friday are not reflective of Patufic Space Base, she wrote. According to the Space Force official, the message went out to American, Danish, Greenlandic, and Canadian base members because they're all working together at this Space Force base, said the source with knowledge of the email. So once his
That's
email
not
was
criticism
leaked,
at all.
that's what I'm saying. That's pretty. We just like, if anything, she's just throwing JD Vance under the bus, which is, I thought, what Trump liked to do anyway.
she just said this is not what we're doing.
We're not doing it. And she was just, again, the Space Force base, you're working with all kinds of countries. Like, there's, it's a
You know what's
collective.
crazy? That Space Force thing that Trump started
That's the other thing. Space Force is a relic of the Trump first
But it's not going to
administration.
be, I'm telling you, it's going to be the most important branch of the military soon.
You think so?
Oh, God, man. We're going to have a war in space. It's going to be awful. And
Are there going to be Ghaznavis fired off?
People in the future are going to say, thank God Trump made the Space Force.
Oh, you think so?
It's going to be awful.
Yeah.
It's going to be disgusting.
I'm excited
I'm going to be so upset.
Yeah.
Because presumably someone else would have done it, and it was just a timing thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he came in on his election, his campaign
his
promise.
space horse.
Was
Yeah.
it's like, but space. I mean, do you know how much stuff is up there in space? We got Elon Musk alone has 10,000, thousands of satellites.
There's space trash up there at this point.
All
right?
kinds of
There's
stuff.
a ring of trash floating around the world, which is
So-
great. Well, in Space Force, from what I remember as well, was the thing that Mike Pence was put in charge of.
Yeah,
Remember that guy? He
Oh,
was the
yeah.
vice president under Trump.
nice guy.
And then he didn't support an insurrection.
Yo,
And that was the bar.
oh, the traitor.
That was the bar.
We should have got him.
Well, that's why he replaced him with JD Vance. That's why we're stuck with JD Vance. And one more piece of JD Vance news.
Okay.
Because it does relate to Greenland and
Ready for
everything he touches. Remember when he killed the Pope last week? We
Oh,
covered it?
yeah. By the way, our TikTok video about that got flagged for violating community guidelines.
Well,
They don't understand satire at TikTok.
apparently not.
Yeah.
They also, maybe they love JD Vance.
Maybe they do.
I'll tell you who doesn't love JD Vance. The thousands of people who also were in Rome last weekend, Easter, the holiest weekend in the Catholic calendar.
Big tourism weekend.
Huge for the Vatican City and the city of Rome. Ladies and gentlemen, JD Vance had 40, count them, 40 4x4s, an entourage of cars
Wow.
to protect him. And you know what that does to a little Italian city like Rome and the traffic there?
Well, it's the streets are little. Rome is not little, but
You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
The streets are tiny, yes. The city is big. The streets are also tiny. Thank God they weren't in Venice. He'd have 40 boats
Mamma
going
mia.
over. Mamma mia, look out. He ruined the vacation plans for thousands and thousands of people who were there just to see the same things that then he was given private tours of.
Oh,
So you got the Colosseum tour. He ended up canceling that one, so it was just his wife. Thousands of tourists had to lose their private tours that they had booked in months and months in advance. Same with the Sistine Chapel. I mean, it's just, again, it's a beautiful city that when you're going there for Easter to see the Pope, which hopefully these people at least got to see the Pope for the last time, they weren't able to see all the things that they had planned to see. So hundreds of people lost their tours. Thousands of people had their Easter weekend in Rome ruined. It was nothing like the Gregory Peck, Audrey Hepburn movie, Roman Holiday, which is a fantastic little romp. JD Vance pretty much ruined that for everyone. So there you go, folks. If you didn't already hate JD Vance at this point,
he definitely, a bunch of Italians do, and a bunch
and
of
people
European,
from all over the world.
all over the world.
Yes. So
Wow, soft power. We call that soft power.
it's soft something.
Limp power.
It's soft something.
Nice job, JD. Perfect.
But this is in the entire thousands and thousands of years of the Catholic Church. This is the first American Pope. We just had a South American Pope. This is the first North American Pope from Chicago. Everyone's made all the jokes you could ever want about a Chicago Pope. But I think it's pretty cool because he does seem like a very peaceful man in the vein of Pope Francis, in that he wants to support the working class. He wants to support, he wants the wars to end. He wants immigrants to be respected. And this is where a new piece of good news, ladies and gentlemen, on the issue of immigration, the new Pope has already beefed as of January and February this year with the world's worst vice president, JD Vance, everybody.
Give it to me.
Pump it into your veins, Seena.
Let's go.
The new Pope tweeted, and a now deleted tweet or blocked or whatever it is, but when Robert Prevost was just a mere cardinal, he actually tweeted out an article, which, no joke, the title of the article is JD Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others. This all goes back to the Trump administration's essentially war of words, Seena, about the issue of immigrants, about whether or not we should treat them with dignity and humanity. And as our brother, welcome the stranger, as we all know, is a term that we see in Christianity a lot. So cardinals around the world, including our new Pope, Leo the 14th
Wow.
took issue with JD Vance and Trump on this issue of immigration. And now we get to basically see JD Vance. I mean, unless JD Vance goes and kills this Pope, which we all know is exactly what he did with the last Pope, I say, you know what? You're never going to hear me say this, but I'm rooting for the Pope. I am rooting for the Catholic Church.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll go that far.
When it comes to JD, hey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. All right.
This is a real
hate JD Vance
Ohio moment here.
Hey, you want something? You want to know something? Hold
on. Uh-oh.
Look at this. This is a degree.
Here
from
comes
Columbia University Journalism School.
Why is it written in crayon? That's how they write things at Columbia. Columbia. That's where for the audio listeners, that's a real diploma.
That's a real diploma. And the only thing that JD Vance has on me, is his law degree from Yale, which is much more impressive, unfortunately. So there's many reasons why people hate JD Vance. For me, it's just personal and professional in a lot of ways. But now it's pontifical. And I'm glad to see my boy, Cubs fan or White Sox fan.
He's a White Sox fan, right?
Either one. Chicago fan. Pope Leo the 14th. Let's see the Rumble. Bring it on. Pope versus JD for the next 20,
and I think
30
he's
years.
69 years old, so he's got at least a decade or 2 decades.
Yeah, Pope Francis lived to 88. So just give me 20 years of JD Vance hating.
Oh my God, it'd be incredible.
Hey, buddy, I'm not saying I'll
child
convert.
sexual assault. I mean,
that's bad.
Do you hate JD Vance?
I'm not saying I'm going to convert, but do I hate JD Vance more than I hate the Catholic Church? Yes, I do.
Wow, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
I understand. Just
if I was from Ohio, I'd be with you.
So that is your piece of good news, Seena. The new Pope,
I feel great,
doesn't like JD Vance. And there was an interesting article I read, too, out of JD Vance's hometown, Cincinnati Enquirer, which is JD Vance's hometown newspaper. A couple other things just to stack on our boy JD. First of all, they did an analysis as to the viral vacation of JD Vance. Like, when everyone says that JD Vance killed the Pope, we all know that he actually did kill the Pope.
Okay, this is satire, by the way. Our TikTok of this video got taken down because I guess the algorithm thought we were serious.
Well, and that's the thing. We're not the only show that's talking about this. The entire internet is talking about JD Vance killing the Pope to the point that memes and videos and everything went viral. And it is interesting because they actually interviewed some professors who study, why things go viral, essentially internet culture. And it all comes down to the fact that so many people hate JD Vance, but also JD Vance, because he's around our age, he adds to it. Like, he will tweet out the memes that are technically anti JD Vance memes. He plays along with it. So because he is of this generation, it's one of those things where it's like, you want to make fun of the bully if you know the bully's going to know about it. Does that make sense? And that's why people love to basically pile on JD Vance on the internet. Again, as we've reported on this show, he is the least popular vice president in the history of since they started keeping track. And he's also one of the most hated mans on the internet. So I thought that was interesting. One last bonus piece out of Cincinnati. JD Vance's half-brother ran a half-assed campaign for mayor of Cincinnati. And he only got 11% of the vote in the primary. He does move on to the general election where he will probably still only get 11% against the very popular Democrat incumbent mayor of Cincinnati. But
and JD Vance was promoting this.
JD Vance actively said, go vote for my brother. But Cincinnati has not had a Republican mayor in 50 plus years. So this is clearly just another ploy. And in the same way, a lot of people felt JD Vance's political career was just a ploy for
you mean the guy that called President Trump Hitler and then went?
Yes,
and
exactly.
Became his
it was
vice
all
president?
a publicity stunt, but now look where we are. The publicity stunt has gone international.
Well, we got 4 years of this publicity stunt.
Maybe more.
Mm-hmm. God, maybe more.
President JD Vance has
Ugh. Help us,
Emoluments
Pope.
clause. Go to sleep. Emoluments clause. Go
Oh,
to sleep.
God,
Go to
thank
sleep.
you.
Go to sleep.
I'll just dream of Pope Leo the 14th.
Well, I think that wraps it up for today.
That's plenty of news.
That's so much news.
That was like decades packed into one spring break. He's starting to take over the whole show. That jerk.
Yeah.
I will
for
say
sure.
his eyeliner in this, for people who can't see it, his
Wow.
eyeliner in this clip on point.
For a guy that doesn't like drag queens,
Maybe he's born with it.
maybe. There's born with what? That eyeliner?
Yeah, or maybe it's Maybelline is usually the
I think, yeah, I'd say you're right about that. Okay, let's listen to JD Vance talking about the fishermen.
Said Secretary of Defense, but our new Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. And I was talking to Secretary Hegseth, and you know what he said? He said, you know what, Mr. Vice President? We don't see any of these drug boats coming into our country. They've completely stopped. And I said, I know why. I would stop too. Hell, I wouldn't go fishing right now in that area of the world. But that is what a military that is dedicated to its purpose and a commander-in-chief that is dedicated to the national good can do.
That's terrifying.
If we just have our actual government fighting for the interests of Americans and nobody else, we can make this country safer, we can protect your jobs, we can make sure you've got the best wages anywhere in the world, and we can stop this terrible poison from coming into our country. We just needed a president who was willing to fight for you, and now we've got one.
What?
Yikes.
All you gotta do is just commit a few war crimes and everything's
Just gotta commit
fine.
a few war crimes.
Just commit a few. It's not a big deal. It's just some extrajudicial killings. I had a problem with Obama's drone wars, but at least they had documentation on at least some of the stuff that they were doing. At least there was some paperwork involved over there. And mind you, even then it was not very good. And I remember the New York Times reported like the same person being killed in a drone strike like 3 different times. But this is that on steroids.
Yes.
Okay? And this is, again, weak leadership. Send your Marines to board the boats. Find the people. Show us who they are. Show us the win. If you're so tough, Mr. War, Micro Petey, Secretary Micro Pete, go out there, send your Marines to actually get us some evidence. This is crazy.
Yeah, and of course, JD Vance justifying it all by saying, I wouldn't go fishing over there either. It's like, please, JD, when you do go fishing, we all know you do it in southern Ohio and you have the departments raise the water level so you can catch more fish and impress your family. I get it.
I can see him standing next to like a fish and wildlife guy and just be like, load that truck of salmon in. Load it in.
Yeah, load it in. Look at this one, how big it is.
Whoa.
Yeah. Exactly. They're just handing him pre-caught frozen fish. He's like, I caught another one. Sure glad I'm not fishing down in the Caribbean right now. Give him a chance. He's JD Vance. No, wait, he sucks.
Boo-hoo.
He still sucks.
That stock is plummeting. How do we bet on how much people hate that man?
Well, we're going to get to it because that clip you just saw, I mean, again, the crowds still love him, right? He's justifying, we've said this all along for the last few months, that he goes out there, he justifies the Trump administration's policies. We're bombing boats. That sounds bad. Rand Paul's even not happy. Well, guess what? We're not going fishing down there, I'll tell you that much. Isn't that right, Micro Pete? That's how JD goes out there and justifies everything. So, again, like you said, JD, potentially the heir apparent of the MAGA movement, he's going to be very busy for the next 3.5 years. That's the only joy we can really take from any of this.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't just explaining the Venezuelan boat strikes. He also had to recently explain here on the domestic front the shutdown of the federal government. Here is JD Vance taking the podium in the White House briefing room, a spot where, if he's the next president, he's going to have to do a lot more of this. So they're giving him his reps. He's getting his reps in. And this is him talking about the shutdown. Now, a little bit of background here, Seena. Again, we're a foreign policy show, but as we know, all foreign policy is domestic policy. The federal government's been shut down as of this recording for about a week. The reason why Senate Democrats are not negotiating with Republicans in the Senate is that the Democrats in the Senate are literally just fighting for what seems like a scrap of a piece of anything with the Republicans, but they want to extend
healthcare credits. Obviously, we just had $1 trillion cut from Medicaid over the next 10 years from the big, beautiful bill. So the Senate Democrats are saying, hey, let's work together to avoid the shutdown. But now there is a shutdown, but let's reopen the government. But if you want our votes, you got to give us some health care. The Republicans are saying they're not going to do it because the people who receive that health care, and it's not that many, by the way.
It's the subsidies for the
Yes, the subsidies for the healthy, the things that fund the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, things like that. The Republicans are saying, well, illegal immigrants get a lot of that health care. And they're saying we don't want to give taxpayer dollars to illegal immigrant health care. Now, again, this is so far-fetched from what's actually happening. As you know, we've talked on this show, illegal immigrants are not eligible for government programs in any way, shape, or form. But this has led our hilarious comedian president, Donald Trump, to literally tweet out memes, or in his Truth Social, of Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries in the House wearing a sombrero. And this is, again, I don't think anything sums up where our politics is more than this story of government shutdown. Like you were talking about West Wing, right? It used to be a time where they get together, hash out the details. We figured it out. But this is where we are. There's a government shutdown. The Democrats want health care for more people. The Republicans say, well, illegal immigrants are going to get that health care. And then the president decides to tweet out memes of Democratic leaders wearing sombreros. And now, with all of that background explained, here's JD Vance saying why the sombrero memes are funny.
Mr. Vice President, first two questions. Are there plans to meet Democratic leaders again in the coming days, or are you planning on plucking off senators one by one?
So that's the whole question?
No, I got a second question.
Okay, go ahead and ask the second question.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer.
I saw.
Recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that. Now, to your first question, are we negotiating one-on-one? Are we negotiating in groups? Look, I will go to the U.S. Capitol right now and meet with Chuck Schumer or any Senate Democrat if it helps us reopen the government. Most of the conversations, in my experience at least, have been one-off. We're also, of course, relying on some of our Senate Republican colleagues who have good relationships across the aisle. We're going to do whatever we have to do is the answer. And I think it's tough to predict what shape this negotiation is going to take over the next few months. But I feel good about the fact that Democrats already realize privately the fundamental irrationality of their position. I hope that they're going to publicly acknowledge it.
All right, cut that. Cut his mic. Cut his mic. Cut his mic. This is so disingenuous, but this is what JD Vance is doing. He's explaining away. This is a Republican shutdown, Seena.
Yeah.
Right? We know this. Republicans run everything. They're in charge of the executive, both branches of the legislative. And again, the Democrats, to reopen the government, to just get a stopgap funding, you need 60 votes in the Senate, which means they literally need 7, 8 Democrats. And all the Democrats are saying is, we want some of that health care back.
If you look at why this is even happening, when they extended the 2017 tax cuts, they had to pay for them in some way.
Yes.
And so how are they going to pay for them? They can't take from defense. So what do? They take people's subsidies away for health care. People are not going to be able to afford health care. Millions of people are not going to be able to afford health care.
Yes.
And so they take from the most vulnerable, because those people, guess what? They don't have a lobby. They don't have the money to pay some fancy lobbyist. Right. But I'll tell you who does. The ultra wealthy or the corporations or all the people that are going to be benefiting from these tax cuts. Those are also those donors that are helping with those tax cuts. So it's almost like a math problem for the Republicans because they could negotiate even, but they've already sold. They already spent the money in a way. So I don't know how this is going to get solved. I think it's going to take the pressure of somebody. And frankly, I think what ends up happening is that you're going to have the FAA, like these just go be like, we're not going to work anymore.
Right.
And then the airlines are going to basically call up the Congress and be like, no one's flying anymore. So you're going to have to open this government up one way or the other. And they're going to give the subsidies. This is just, whatever. They're going to give the subsidies or negotiate some sort of subsidies and then go into more national debt.
Come on. Yes, and that's a good point. The big beautiful bill also adds $3.4 trillion in debt more over the next 10 years because of those tax cuts. And that's despite cutting $1 trillion out of healthcare and food assistance programs for poor and lower class Americans. All right, can you handle one more, JD Vance?
I can do that. Yeah, let's do it.
This is just, we'll end with this one. It's just one more clip from this press conference. Again, JD had a joke that just crushed, right? He said, Hakeem, you open the government, sombreros, memes will stop. That's where we are in politics. But also, I want to thank everyone for all the positive feedback we got about our YouTube-only breakdown, including us breaking down of Pete Hegseth's speech. That is on our YouTube channel, YouTube only. Again, just a 15-minute highlight of the worst clips of Pete's Micro Pete's 71-minute speech. But it is interesting because within this press conference, again, JD Vance's job is to explain and make normal all of the very unnormal things that are happening right now. And so this clip, I think, really highlights that from the same press conference. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Mr. Vice President, just going back to the sombrero, you said that the president was joking,
back to the sombrero.
Hakeem Jeffrey says that these memes were racist. What's your response to that? And just if I may briefly go off topic, Secretary Hegseth yesterday made an edict about no more beardos in the military. Just wondered what.
Sorry, what did he say?
No more beardos. Beards. Oh, sorry, it's my accent. Just wanted your response to that.
I didn't see that particular comment. I thought Pete gave a hell of a speech, and a speech that really is just oriented around returning the American military to the very high standards that it has had for virtually its entire history until Joe Biden came along and decided to lower standards. I think it was bad for our military, and it was bad for our troops. When I was a young United States Marine, I did not have a beard. I am now the vice president, so I get to do what I want to do. But I think it's time to re-implement high standards, and that's a very...
All right, cut his mic. Cut his mic. I've had enough. Of this guy. Over the holidays, in fact, right before the holidays, there was some action from our favorite vice president. There was a little thing called America Fest. It's by Turning Point USA. They do it in Charlie Kirk's home city of Phoenix, Arizona, every year. And, all the big players come out. Your right wing, all your favorite right wingers, right? We've got some favorites, right? Tucker Carlson.
Sure. Tucky.
That racist kid who's got a Latino last name. I mean, he was there. Vivek Ramaswamy, who's trying to tell people to not be racist.
He keeps getting booed, I feel like.
Oh, buddy. Believe me, he's running for governor of Ohio. It's about to pop off over here in the Buckeye State. But a lot of this stuff, they kind of roll it out at AmFest for short. So first and foremost, there's a lot of news going around with Erica Kirk and JD Vance with that sensual hug that we covered a few months ago. But it is official. Erica Kirk has said that Turning Point USA will be endorsing JD Vance for president in 2028. Now, obviously, JD is not officially announced. We still have to get through the 2026 midterms. It's going to be a process to even make it that far, but Turning Point has officially come through.
I feel like Trump may turn on Vance after the midterms if they don't go well. What do you think?
I've always been speculating. In fact, more of this coverage from AmFest says the same, that JD Vance don't got the juice. Remember, we talked about Ted Cruz is exploring. There's still some big conservatives who are just like, they don't think JD Vance has what it takes to win in 2020. That's why Erica Kirk and Turning Point coming out in favor of him already so soon is somewhat of a big deal. But you do highlight what a lot of other coverage is saying from NPR. JD Vance, while he was at this AmFest, he refused to set red lines over the bigotry that they're seeing within their own movement, right? Like you're just saying, Vivek Ramaswamy versus Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson versus these. I mean, there's a lot of fractures in the MAGA movement right now. And a lot of it is because of, as you pointed out, racism, right? JD Vance, as always, and this is where I'm just like, I don't think the man's got the juice. He doesn't have what it takes. He was going out there and try to basically make a speech. Ben Shapiro was there denouncing a lot of this racism. There's just so much infighting. And so what Vance tried to do was kind of put a Band-Aid on what I assume is a gaping wound. And he said, we don't care if you're white or black, rich or poor, young or old, rural or urban, controversial or a little bit boring or somewhere in between, he said. We have far more important work to do than canceling each other. And he basically is trying to bring them all together. But he did all this in classic JD Vance fashion of not condemning the racism, meaning he still thinks he needs the Tucker Carlsons, the Nick Fuenteses.
Oh.
And so this is the thing again, where I think it's almost like one of those things where if you don't fix it now, right? A stitch in time saves nine.
Sure.
I think JD Vance is going to see this movement really fracturing on him in the years to come as he tries to take up this MAGA mantle.
Because presumably he views them as the base.
Yes, all of them, though. And that's the thing. Now they all, like we've been covering on this show for weeks and months. And of course, now there's way bigger foreign policy fish to fry. But domestically, the movement behind Donald Trump's presidency is still, I would say, very fractured. And JD Vance, who is supposed to be the heir apparent in 2028, he just doesn't have what it takes to unite everyone. And then this was we're calling it a holiday season 2025. He still doesn't have what it takes to unite everybody. But there's an even funnier gaffe I want to highlight.
Okay.
And we know it's a gaffe. But this is the most bonkers thing for me that came out of AmFest, and it does involve JD Vance. And this is, again, highlights where does he fit in, and where do a lot of these sycophants and grifters fit in as well. Nicki Minaj was there. You all know. Remember when Ben Shapiro talked about how much he loves that Nicki Minaj song?
Yeah.
Well, now they're all hanging out at AmFest.
Oh, God.
Erica Kirk was literally interviewing Nicki Minaj, and you're not going to believe what she called JD Vance. Let's roll this beautiful bean footage.
Oh, my God. Okay.
We are young men. You have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president.
This is Nicki Minaj talking.
And you
right
have
now.
amazing role models like the assassin JD Vance, our vice president. And when I say that...
Assassin?
Yeah. And then she realizes what she said.
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
Oh, my God.
We did.
Just keep it moving.
I love you.
Dead air. Keep it moving.
They can...
You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord. And words are words, but I know her heart, and it doesn't even matter. And you say what you want to say because I know your heart. I will not judge that.
Sister. Thank you.
There we go. I think they saved it, right? They totally saved it. It doesn't come on well that Nicki Minaj was just informed that JD Vance was behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk, so he could then marry Erica Kirk to then unite the Turning Point movement in his favor in 2028. No speculation whatsoever over here. We're a comedy network. Okay. Woo, that was a doozy, huh? So that's the first time
that was
I've ever
so
heard.
Uncomfortable.
I've never heard JD Vance called an assassin, but when it
Why
was
was she even saying? Why was she even saying the word?
I'm telling you, man, this is it. This is no one knows. Is JD Vance the assassin of Charlie Kirk? We're not saying that.
Don't
Nicki
even say
Minaj.
Charlie Kirk. We can't even say Charlie Kirk on the show. Don't even say his name.
I'm not even going to, but JD clearly, according to Nicki Minaj, assassinated somebody.
Oh, God.
We'll never know. But there you go. Those are the funniest, wackiest scenes out of the funniest, wackiest America Fest I've ever seen clips from. So there you go. JD, good luck, buddy. You've got the endorsement now.
And people, thank you for sending all your JD Vance clips to me. We'll just play as many as we can handle.
Yeah.
I have multiple clips. You talked about the federal immunity for the officer who murdered Renee Good.
This is my favorite.
Yeah. So we can do this one. This comes from the folks at
set it up.
The Bulwark. This is JD Vance. Within a matter of days, I mean, the gaslighting is unreal with this. See, I'm already angry. Let's just go ahead and let's see.
Well, so on January, you'll hear him on January 8th.
Talking about federal immunity for the officer who shot Renee Good, and then someone asked him about it days later, and he said, I never did that.
Yeah. And
I didn't say that. That's not what I meant.
The second part is January 22nd.
Yeah, so in a matter of days, this is clip number 1. Let's see at which number of clips we lose our minds.
All right. Here we go.
Here we go.
Precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action.
All right.
That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity.
No, he's not.
No, I didn't say, and I don't think any other official within the Trump administration said that officers who engaged in wrongdoing would enjoy immunity. That's absurd.
Oh, that's absurd.
Is that absurd?
It is absurd.
Oh, let's hear it again.
It's absurd because you said it.
Engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity.
Absolute.
And then I gotta hear it again.
I didn't say, and I don't think any other official within the Trump administration said that officers who engaged in wrongdoing would enjoy immunity. That's absurd.
Okay, that's absurd. It is absurd. It is absurd.
It is absurd. You did say an absurd thing,
so
we agree on that.
So we agree on that. So there you go. There's JD Vance clip number 1.
That's incredible.
I saw that. But the gaslighting and the double speak.
The
Orwellian. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe what I said earlier.
And the shifting, his body language is just like, I didn't say.
Yeah, right. Well, I've learned JD Vance's tell, by the way, when he's lying. It's when he's opening his mouth. There it is. Okay, let's get this guy. Remember ICE in between murdering citizens in the street? They also arrested a 5-year-old.
They
detained an.
God.
This legally.
We're already
semantically
sprinting to the end of this clip session. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. No. Well, JD on ICE. Let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about what. This is insane. This is again the gaslighting, the double speak. He is, and again, this is JD's job. We've said this on the show every time he talks. His job is to justify what the MAGA administration is doing. So when MAGA arrested a 5-year-old kid, or they detained a 5-year-old kid because they were arresting his father, this is another thing that broke the internet because people are like, on top of ICE murdering people, they're kidnapping children.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole detention center, by the way, in Texas. Our producer Danielle mentioned that's where this kid is now, but it's full of kids who have been ripped away from their parents. So let's see what JD Vance says about it.
How your administration is conducting.
Are you proud? The reporter asked. Are you proud of this?
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement, and I'm proud of the fact that we're enforcing the country's laws. But, you asked a question about this 5-year-old kid. I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy. And I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien. And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained.
So happens when a bunch of masked goons run at you. You run.
Also, they came through a legal port of entry and filed for asylum. And it was stripped away.
And this is the thing, right? There are legal protections for some of these immigrants. You're the asylum protection.
Yes.
And, hold on. Go back to JD. I'm not done with this piece.
This clip?
Yeah. No, I'm not done with it. Do you want to?
No.
We can stop now.
No.
Because he keeps... he keeps talking. But to your point, and this is the same thing that the Somalis and the Haitians are facing. Like, they came in, they were given temporary protected status, which is a legal protection started during George H.W. Bush.
Yes,
a more compassionate conservative Republican.
Oh God.
So anyway, but yes, to your point, this kid's dad was here legally on asylum, but ICE is still going after him, and now they're going after the kid. So JD. He's still justifying it there in some way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you
what's
can't
the argument?
arrest people who have violated our laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely
Isn't that
given
wild?
immunity
He's jumping
from
to the
ever
broadest
being
conclusion.
the subject of law
How does
enforcement.
this Yale
That
Law
doesn't
School
make
work?
Any sense. No one thinks that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
no, it doesn't make any
There are
sense,
so many
JD.
of these cases
Yep.
like that where if you just understand the context, there have been a number of situations that I've looked into personally where I say,
Oh,
wait,
I'm sure you have.
we don't want ICE arresting American citizens. They're supposed to be enforcing the immigration laws against illegal aliens. So then I look into it and I find out that the American
He's really
citizen
looking
who
into
was
a lot of
arrested
stuff.
took a swing at an ICE officer.
Oh, they took a swing
You
at an
can't
ICE
have
officer.
that happen. And
Of
course,
course.
they have to defend themselves. And of course they have
And
the
then they
right
put
to detain
22
somebody
bullets in them.
who
Right.
assaults a law enforcement officer. Now, this is my point.
Yeah,
Do we
what's your
want these
fucking
things to
point?
happen?
Sorry.
Do we want these arrests
We don't want you to
be
happen.
so chaotic? No, we don't. These guys want it least of all. But if we had a little
I
cooperation
don't know about that.
from local and federal
Oh, a little cooperation.
I think the chaos would go way down in this community.
Oh, man. Isn't that brutal?
It's so
Are
funny.
you not, Matt, are you not entertained?
What are local PD like Antifa leftist like liberals?
That's the thing.
It's so funny.
Local police are saying, please stop sending these goon squads from ICE into our community.
I've never
Local
been in a
leadership.
situation where I'm like, these liberal police officers.
If we just have a little cooperation, guys,
yeah,
we wouldn't be having to arrest all these children and murder these citizens. JD Vance goes to the Olympics. The only reason we started talking about JD Vance on this show, at least after I joined, is because he kept being sent to Europe to be a dignitary for the Trump administration, which is so fitting. But now they sent him, they're like, well, we might as well keep sending him places to get him the hell out of the White House, escape the smell of the dookie.
Yeah.
And so he goes to Italy as the representative of the American delegation. And he's there with his wife, Usha, who's pregnant, and they're waving American flags. And then the camera cuts to him on the Megatron, and the crowd reacts exactly how they should.
Yeah.
Let's check out this beautiful bean footage.
There is the Vice President, JD Vance, and his wife, Usha. Ooh.
Oh.
Those are a lot of boos.
A lot of booze. Thank you, Europe, for responding to that man accordingly.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there was controversy that NBC had maybe edited out the booze for the American broadcast. But all of this goes to say, and I asked this question of all of our esteemed guests, John Fugelsang, good liars, anybody who comes on, and I think I always, the answer changes every few months, so I ask it again of you if I've already asked it of you in the past. Does JD Vance have the juice to keep the MAGA movement going in 2028? Or is this man going to get blamed hard for everything?
Fall guy.
Woo!
No, we all know who's coming up next.
Yeah.
Rubio.
Oh, wow.
It's Rubio.
And Rubio doesn't have that same hate because everyone hates JD Vance.
No. Everyone hates JD Vance.
Yeah.
No.
But Rubio's kind of lurking in the corners.
It's going to be Rubio. Like,
Wow.
I guarantee. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and give you this is my prediction right now.
Parks prediction.
Parks prediction. It's going to be Rubio versus Kelly.
Wow. Oh my God. Here we go. You heard it here first.
That's what I think. That's what I think. But I think it is a 90, not right now, 90%, I would say. I with the Democrats, you don't know. Like, I don't think Newsom's going to make it. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't think
He's too controversial within the Democrat Party.
Yeah,
If you can't win the nomination, you don't go to the general.
No, Kelly's going to. I think Kelly is the most likely candidate.
You're talking
here.
Mark Kelly, senator from
Kelly.
Arizona.
Yeah, Mark
An
Kelly.
astronaut.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think he's going to be who the Democrats put up, but I think the Republicans are going to put up Rubio because after Trump either dies in office or starts sundowning in the next couple of years,
next couple of weeks,
I think that the Republicans are going to want to quote unquote return to normalcy.
Yeah.
And they're going to do the same thing that they did after George W. Bush, where they're going to pretend like all that didn't happen.
Yep.
And just going to come right back to it. Like every person that I argued with from 2001 until 2006 about George W. Bush, by 2010, they all pretended like that never happened. They all pretended like they never supported the Iraq War. They pretended like they didn't love the Patriot Act. They pretended like Hurricane Katrina never happened.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to do the same with Trump.
Right.
And JD Vance has way too much Trump stink on him. And even though Mark Rubio is in a far more powerful position and a far more consequential position
right.
in this administration, he's going to be able to pivot out of the Trump
Stink? I think it's an appropriate term
At this
considering
point,
the man himself.
You know, the stink cloud, the cloud is covering the whole thing. So yeah, he's going to be able to get. But JD Vance is going to have those poo flecks on him until the day he dies, and deservedly so.
Yes, good. Yeah. That means he goes nowhere, and that's a park prediction that we can take to the bank.
In a historically unusual move, Trump has been actively and openly campaigning to help Orban in his re-election efforts. Or maybe, Travis, maybe he's not. Maybe he actually, this is his 4D chess because he sent JD Vance over to help him with it.
Wow. So after 16 years, the people of Hungary are hungry for change.
Yeah.
And we're sending them JD Vance. Oh my gosh.
Do you think Orban's going to die? Is this what's going to happen now? Is he
right. He's going to pull like when the JD allegedly killed the Pope.
Allegedly killed the Pope. Okay, so let's play a little clip of JD. And this is not the JD Vance corner.
In campaign mode? Yeah,
in
this
campaign
is not yet the
mode.
corner.
This is a little moose boosh, but we'll go to a little bit of JD here. Oh my God, this is a good one, folks. You're gonna.
This is pretty incredible. This is him on the campaign trail, but in another country.
So yeah, he's on the campaign trail in Hungary, and he thinks he can flex right now and call Daddy Trump. And let's you can hear it. Everything will make sense.
Thank you. Please. So before I started my remarks, I actually had a special guest that asked that I give him a phone call.
Oh, boy.
And we'll see. Let's hope he actually answers. So this is going to be very embarrassing. All right.
I'm sorry. The person you were trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
Okay. Try one more time.
Oh, boy.
Hello, Mr. President. How are you?
Hi. Hey, JD, could you give me a second? I'm just... Oh.
There he is.
Wow, that's some...
Mr. President, you are on with about 5,000 Hungarian patriots, and I think they love you even more than they love Viktor Orban.
Well, I can't believe that. Because I love Hungary and I love that Viktor. I'll tell you, he's a fantastic man. We've had a tremendous relationship.
What
and
is
he
happening?
does a job. Remember this. He didn't allow people to storm your country and invade your country like other people have.
Oh, God.
Ruin their countries, frankly. He's kept your country good. He's kept Hungarian people in your country. And he's done a fantastic job. And let me tell you, I like him a lot, but if I didn't think he did a good job, I wouldn't be making a call like this. But, boy, that sounds like a big crowd, and that sounds like my kind of people.
Wow. Is that meddling in another country's elections? Is that legal in Hungary? I don't even know.
Of course it is, and of course it's not.
Okay, great. Perfect answer. I have no notes. That's incredible. I've never seen this. Literally,
I've never seen that either.
Making a campaign call.
I really thought you really weren't supposed to do. First of all, it's such a bad producing move to try to call from stage like that. Sure. Bad producing. Second,
sure, just be handed a phone with him already on it would be the proper production move. Yeah,
exactly. But no, you're really. This is. Do we have laws against this? What does it matter anymore?
Right.
I don't even know why I even said it.
International laws are meant to be broken. There you go.
It's like saying the word law, and I was like, why am I even saying this word?
I know. And you're a man with a law degree. What does it even mean anymore?
A lot of student loan debt.
So, Seena, we got a little appetizer there with JD, right? JD has been sent far away from Iran. There are some rumors that since JD wasn't exactly down with the whole Iran war, that maybe we ship him to another country to do some things. But that's why people thought he was in Hungary. I would say, as you saw, with Trump ignoring his call and then taking the call, maybe they're still in some good graces. They're still working together on some projects that are not Iran, right?
Yeah.
But as we've said on the show, foreign policy is domestic policy. And JD Vance, his job is to explain to the American people why Trump's campaign promises of no new wars and America first policies are not happening anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So let's go ahead and play this pretty incredible saying the quiet part out loud. And Lord knows, as we've said on this show, Trump's very good at accidentally eventually saying the quiet part very out loud. Let's play this clip about Trump being asked about why this war is so expensive. Again, we're talking millions and billions. I think this war has already cost $1 trillion, is what I have actually seen.
Really?
And yes, and of course, as folks probably know, the Trump administration has requested their new budget to Congress, and that includes a $1.5 trillion full military budget, which is an increase of another 500 some billion dollars from where it already is. We're already at $1 trillion almost. They want 1.5 trillion of your taxpayer dollars to go to Pete Hegseth's department, and they do that by cutting all kinds of other public services, safety net spending, which again your taxpayer dollars go to. This is how Donald Trump justified this very pro-America, no new wars budget request. Play it, beautiful.
Because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing: military protection.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
We're fighting wars. We're fighting wars.
I thought they were excursions.
It's not a war. It's a conflict, but it's not a conflict, and it's excursion. Yes, but sorry, America, you can't have all the things. Remember when he promised he wasn't going to cut Social Security, things like that. These are the things that get cut because you're taking all that money and you're shoving it into a war machine. It's pretty unbelievable that he said that out loud.
I can't believe that. Why pick on daycare?
Well, for that question specifically, he was asked about, and rightfully so, by a reporter, what happens when you're spending all this money? What happens to things like daycare? There are federal programs that go fund the daycares. And you remember the big controversy from January where they were saying Minnesota was misusing all this daycare money. I mean, there's federal money that goes to the states, and then the states dole out that money to counties and cities for programs like daycare. And Donald Trump and his administration, they want to cut it all so we could go bomb, baby.
Oh, my God.
So there you go. So that's Trump saying that part out loud very much. Surely, JD Vance must have a way to say, hey, America, these policies are not America first. I know we started a new war, but guess what? JD Vance has a solution to the daycare problem that Trump just talked about. Trump's saying no more funding for daycare. We can't afford it. We got to blow people up. So JD Vance has a solution, Seena. Don't you worry. Okay. I'm sure it's going to be real good and real thought out and will totally make sense to the average American who needs daycare for their child.
So one of the ways that you might be able to relieve a little bit of pressure on people who are paying so much for daycare is make it so that maybe like grandma or grandpa wants to help out a little bit more, or maybe your uncle that wants to help out a little bit more. If that happens, you relieve some of the pressure on all the resources that we're spending in daycare. So one of the ways that you might be able to relieve a little bit of pressure.
Oh, Travis, he figured it out.
He figured it out, Grandma and Grandpa. Right? Oh. You're and your lovely wife's parents live very close by and can
I'm like the only one I know. I'm like the only person I know that is blessed to have a mother-in-law nearby. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's a pretty insane insinuation from a guy who, I mean, in a weird part of JD's brain, I get it, because his grandma basically had to raise him, and he wrote a whole book about it, how he loved his Meemaw. But I don't think JD Vance understood. What if Grandma and Grandpa are dead? What if they live far, far away? Also, did he mention an uncle in there? I was told uncles stay the hell away from these kids, okay? I don't know what JD Vance is thinking. But of course, in his warped brain, what he said makes sense.
Of course, and you also have to move to your job a lot of times. Like people can't find work. You got to move wherever the work is. And a lot of times you have older parents, they can't move.
Right.
This
exactly.
is crazy.
It's a crazy.
Oh, this guy is so cooked, Travis, for the election. He is so cooked.
This is what I'm saying. And you're absolutely right, because without daycare, people can't work. I mean, this is even red states are starting to, I guess to Trump's credit, leave it up to the states. But they are starting to figure out that, if working families don't have a place to keep their kids, they're not going to work, and then the economy suffers. So this isn't even a Republican or Democrat issue. This is you need places to keep kids while families and parents are working, and grandma and grandpa aren't always the solution. What if grandma's senile? What if she's crazy? What if she's feeding the babies whiskey during the day? That actually sounds pretty cool.
My father had Parkinson's. My mom was his caretaker. It's like for 20 years, this is what she had to deal with. And he was, what? I can't leave my kids with them. No. What are we talking about?
Also, they're in Pittsburgh and you're in LA. It's not a practical solution. But again, like you said, so cooked in 2028. If this is the guy who's going to be rolling out, explaining these no new wars and America first non-solutions to America's problems. Actually works. And Turning Point USA recently had their annual whatever the hell. People all sit around and say bullshit. And this is interesting because after Charlie Kirk's assassination, Erica Kirk did take over. And that, as you have rightly pointed out, has been very controversial in and of itself, Seena. Many people do not trust Erica Kirk. There's been so many rumors flying around about her and her deep state ties, how the entire Turning Point USA organization is being funded, and it has gotten so serious that Erica Kirk herself had to back out of the Turning Point USA event over, quote, serious threats. And this caused her side piece, JD Vance, to basically...
Wait, sorry, I kind of just asked you this. What, like threats on her safety?
Yeah, she didn't feel safe going, but this is the thing, and I think it's more about, and we're about to...
Hasn't the worst already happened, Erica?
Erica! No, here's the thing, and that's the thing. That could have been a guise, right? It could have just been a smoke screen, because she knew what ended up, and we're going to play these clips here, what ended up happening to JD Vance at the Turning Point event was definitely going to happen to her if she got on a stage and tried to speak, because per your point earlier, chaos has now taken over Turning Point and people are openly disagreeing. I mean, the Iran war, as you know, has divided the MAGA world, right? I mean, we were talking about Trump beefing with the Pope, but also notably, he's now beefing with Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and even Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Former supporters, ardent supporters of Trump. I mean, now my algorithm is just Alex Jones yelling about Trump, which is, I'm definitely going to watch those clips. So now this has all happened to Turning Point as well. And what I want to show you, because this is the JD Vance Corner, JD, after first he talked about his good friend / side piece, Erica Kirk, was not able to be there, which I'm sure made him very upset already because he didn't get to have a little fun there at the Turning Point event. But he did try to talk to everyone about the Iran war. And I want you to play this clip, Seena, because as what could have happened to Erica Kirk if she tried to get on stage and talk to a crowd like this, you can see there were members of the crowd at Turning Point who were not happy with JD Vance and how he was explaining away the Iran war. This is, again, as we've said in this segment and on this show for about a year now, over a year, JD Vance's job is to go explain what the hell the Trump administration is doing and to sell it to the everyday American people. He tries to do it here in front of what he thinks is a friendly crowd, and the results go exactly as you should expect.
So the Pope said something where he said, and I'm gonna try to remember the exact quote, but he said that
try to remember,
God
JD.
is never on the side of those who wield the sword.
This ties into what we talked about earlier as well, Seena. I mean, JD is trying to, again, justify the fact that the president was beefing with the Pope, and JD is a supposed Catholic. He converted. It's not real. It's for politics. But go on, JD.
The side of those who wield the sword. I'm pretty sure that he said that exact statement. Now, on the one hand, again, I like that the Pope is an advocate for peace. I think that's certainly one of his roles. On the other hand, how can you say that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated France from the Nazis? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated Holocaust camps and liberated those innocent people from those who had survived the Holocaust? I certainly think the answer is yes, and I agree. Jesus Christ does not. I agree. Jesus Christ certainly does not support genocide. Whoever yelled that out from the dark, he certainly does not. I think that's pretty easy. I think that's a pretty easy principle.
Got him to say genocide. That's a step.
Boom, right? Because he had to take it off of his social media when he talked about the Armenian genocide. But this is what happened. He got heckled, and you can't really hear it with the microphones. But somebody said Jesus Christ does not support genocide. Now, keep in mind, Charlie Kirk was very against the Iran war. There are all these, this Joe Kent guy was talking to Tucker Carlson. He said the last time he saw Charlie Kirk was at the White House, and Charlie Kirk told Joe Kent, do not let the president go to war in Iran. So this is the thing, that now you're having some true Charlie Kirk faithfuls here at the Turning Point event who are not for this war in Iran. And now that JD Vance is trying to have to explain this, he's getting heckled by those very people. Let's see, play a little bit more of it. I think it gets even more heated and JD sounds even dumber.
So genocide in Gaza.
They're talking about Gaza.
Let me just say this. This is a guy.
There we go.
No.
But the boos are happening now.
First of all, random dude who's shouting. Can I finish my point and then I'll respond to what you just shouted? Is that okay? Okay, great.
Yeah, can we give him 1 second to answer this?
All right, cut it off.
Wait, first of all, it's like random dude and shit. Why? This is bad crowd work. First of all, you're a politician.
Right.
This should be very normal that everyone you encounter in an audience is a random dude.
A random dude in the audience. Exactly. And that's the thing. And yeah, you can kill it from here. People can go check it out. This keeps going for a few more minutes, but JD just continues to shovel his bullshit on behalf of this administration. But what we try to do here with this segment every week for the last year, we show the cracks in the MAGA ceiling, Seena. And that is where JD Vance, he's used to being in front of a friendly crowd. And I'm sure that's what he was expecting when he got up there to justify all of this. And thankfully, random dude in the audience, I support that guy more than I support JD Vance or anyone else in this administration.
Good Christian values. That's what I see there.
What she is actually not mentioned in this article, but Rubio very publicly, again, because JD and Rubio, and when we say it could be Rubio JD in 2028, we say that because Trump's saying that.
Yeah.
Trump's going down there saying, like, which one? Who's it gonna be? And he does like a poll of the audience in front of him. And again, this is how you know there's a problem, because JD says there's not a problem. JD says they're very good friends, and that likely what will happen, and he says Marco is supposedly on this train as well. And again, JD plays coy because he's not a candidate yet. It'll be JD top of the ticket, Marco as VP. And then it's a unity thing, and it's not them fighting each other, duking it out. But again, like you've said, when JD says there's not a problem, it usually means there's a problem.
You think Marco's going to accept VP?
Yeah, Marco actually says in this article, and he's been asked about it before, that he would support JD for president. So in that realm, but that's the thing. If someone dangled it in front of Marco and said, yo, JD's going to lose, would you like to take?
Because that would be the big, today until he decides to run.
But that's the big reason that, again, people would say JD doesn't run for president, is because he's already going to have all this stuff hung around his neck anyway. Yeah. And that's why he loses. And Marco can be like, well, I had nothing to do with all the domestic problems. I was out there trying to solve international problems. And that ties into my last point of today's JD Vance Corner. This is a rumor.
How could it get worse?
From our friends over at Apodlatia, a great podcast out of Appalachia. A wild rumor. Someone that they trust who works at JP Morgan. The buzz is that Trump has been exploring ways to force Vice President out of office before 2028 because he cannot run him. And to prove this, from our friends over at The Rooster in Ohio, which is dealing with some anti-GOP shenanigans right now this week. But Donald Trump routinely humiliates JD Vance for breaking the Ohio State National Champions Trophy in public and in private. And because of this, as we know, Trump, he knows talent when he sees talent.
Yeah.
That's talent. Wow, what a hot guy. What a hot piece of ass, as he said about his wife. he is convinced, he talks about this moment over and over, that because JD did that and he dropped the trophy, he doesn't have the riz, he doesn't have the juice to become the presidential candidate.
I can't
in
argue with the
2028.
president on
And
that
that's
one.
the thing. I finally agree with Donald Trump. So keep dropping that trophy, JD, because if you do, I guarantee Donald Trump will drop you from 2028.
Wow. That was incredible. Thank you, Travis. That's
Around the
JD
horn.
That was
with why
incredible.
JD. It just, I want to thank everyone who keeps sending me articles about JD. I do see them, and I will talk about them.
That was an emotional roller coaster. All right, welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the extended JD Vance Corner for that.
Woo! That was like 4 corners. I feel like I'm stuck in a JD Vance back rooms. You know what I mean? It just keeps on going.
Oh, there's so many. I mean, there was ones that didn't make it. I mean, it's like, so I'm just, I can't wait. We're gonna keep hammering this guy. You know, this is not Oppo research because it's public. It's all
Right. We did no work beyond reading the news and finding videos that people send to us. So thank you, America, for helping us stand up for what we want the country to be. And I wish us the best of luck in the next 250 years. Because if we keep having vice presidents like this, I don't know how long it's going to last.
Listen, I think also, and you do this, we've talked about this, let's take back the red, white, and blue. We shouldn't let these MAGA people own the red, white, and blue. That's crazy. It's ours.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
Progressive. Inclusion.
Absolutely.
Love.
Yes.
Harmony.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean,
That's
I
what we're about
originally
here.
started putting this on because the USA was back in the World Cup. And now I'm just kind of like, you know what? Let's take it all back. I want that flag decal on my big old truck. Although I don't own a truck. You understand. I'll put it on my Prius.
There you go. I love it. All right, everyone. Sign up for 4reportshow.com. We'll be back next week with our regular episode. We hope you have a wonderful and safe holiday and you don't shoot a firework off into your face. But if you do shoot a firework off, please aim it at Travis's beard.
Please, don't worry. I think it might just burn off over the holidays, Seena. We'll find out.
We'll find out. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.